What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Got a DDD explosion for you guys to check out in this duel. I feel like DDDs are starting to become the deck that people most want a Link Monster for. Kind of, like the Arc V decks. Decks that were really wrecked by Master Rule 4. I feel like Fluffles are in that category too. But most people are just kind of settling at this point for Fry for Patchwork. But that's a whole nother situation. I even remember in Jerome McHale's video of DDD, kind of his explainer video, he talked about Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, Omega, and Siegfried, and he was like, pick two, whichever two you want. It's relatively easy to make in DDD turn 1, but obviously post Master Rule 4, just a lot harder to do that, especially considering you gotta pump monsters into making the Link summon available, and then if you do that, you don't have the monsters for the Synchro summons. It's just not really a good thing. But with the addition of the Sky Strikers, you can open up those extra monster zones relatively easily, and really the Sky Strikers, you don't use them for getting like your extra monster zones open, because they don't necessarily do that, but you do use those in combination with cards like Phantom Sky Blaster that can actually help you go into like Saryuja Skull Dread, and then you can open up your extra monster zones that way. So this is going to be a pretty quick duel, I think, just a couple of turns. His opponent does use Droll and Lock. This is some weird kind of low tier version of Trickstars. I mean, the Wind Witches were okay in Trickstars, like, I don't know, in the right after Code of the Duelist came out, before we had better stuff to run in it, but there's no reason to be running these cards in Trickstars now. Even if you weren't going to run Sky Striker Trickstars, just run regular Trickstars. It's just way better. But Droll does shut his opponent's turn down, and actually, maybe if he would have saved that Droll, this duel could have been a little different. So he's just going to attack. Droll shut the opponent down, but he doesn't have any actual Trickstar plays. Honest, another card people don't really run. Here's the thing, though. Like, let's just say his opponent didn't pop off turn 1 after that Search of Kepler. If he would have been able to, still have Droll and Lockbird here, after his opponent activates Dark Contract with the Gate, he could have easily just used Droll and Lockbird and then reincarnated him and taken his entire hand, and I think he probably would have won off of that. But you're going to see basically just a quick summon for a Sky Striker monster. He's going to get a token from Hornet Bit, Phantom Sky Blasters, giving him even more tokens, and now he has all he needs for Saryuja Skull Dread, including a couple more tokens, just as a potential to summon a second Saryuja Skull Dread, which he actually is going to do. I think he's doing that to make the startup engage live. Obviously, you can't have any other monsters in your main monster zone, so that's pretty nice. He's going to go for Alexander. Alexander does have that Monster Reborn like effect built into it, which is really nice because he gets Lamnia back, and he's going to go for man, I can't remember your name, the one with the scarf. What? Siegfried? Yeah, okay, it is Siegfried. I'm like, what? I'm like, that has to be Siegfried, right? Lamnia is going to get summoned back. Saryuja is going to go for a special summon, and I believe I think Saryuja was just giving 300 attack points, but he goes for Odd Eye's Meteor Burst. A lot of people are summoning this card in these duels, and that's just used to get Ragnarok back. Ragnarok, when it's special summoned, it has a Monster Reborn like effect as well. Now he can go for Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon off of the Lamnia. But that's not it. He's going to actually summon his Exceed right here, the Executive Caesar, and this has another stun ability as well. Now, since he didn't use that Soul Charge because it got taken out of his hand, he can do some battle damage, and I mean, come on now. What is Ash Blossom going to do now? To get out of this situation, he probably would have needed like Raw Spear Mode or something like that, because you have 3 monsters on the field, all with Stunish-like abilities. If he goes and he activates the Wind Witch Ice Bell, obviously Crystal Wing is going to negate that. If he goes for Dark Hole, Siegfried can negate it. He can use Executive Caesar to negate it. So too many negates for him to be able to really do anything. And I mean, my guy's even got a Monster Reborn on top of that, so I believe he's just going to end up scooping, which he does really quickly. And let me just go ahead and show you guys what the deck looks like. It's very interesting. This DDD build actually looks like some of the DDD builds of the past, where you'd run like Triple Desires and cards like Allure of Darkness, basically to just try to get to your combo pieces. Obviously, Monster Reborn coming back just helps DDD so much. And if you look at this build, I mean, this is definitely like a DDD build. I mean, yeah, you got the 6 copies of the Sky Striker cards, but everything else is totally DDD driven. I mean, maybe you could see, I don't even know if you have room for something like Called by the Grave, but I really don't think that there is much explaining to be done here outside of the Phantom Skyblaster. But you saw what that did. Really just a good card when you combine it with the Sky Strikers, because if you're going to have tokens on board and you're going to have a monster in the extra monster zone, which you know, you can obviously do with your Hornet bits, and you're going to probably have, if you open with Hornet bit, you go for like Kagari, and then boom, your Kagari gets you the Hornet bit bad, you activate it again, you have tokens, you summon your Phantom Skyblaster, and boom, you got five, you know, like 5 monsters on board. I think that's everything else is like pretty standard, and I think it makes sense to run Phantom Skyblaster because if it's ever dead, then obviously you can use it for Allure Darkness. So yeah, I don't even know if really you could fit the Call by the Graves in. I think if you wanted to go up, you could probably play them, but everything else I think is actually just pretty standard, and you know, a couple of link monsters here and there that you'll you know, you'll need. He doesn't even run the, what's it called? Not even running Shizuku, not even running the blue one. He's like, you know what, Cap, I don't even need that. By the time main phase 2 comes around, I've already set up my super stun board and I've won the duel by then.